Hello everyone, this is Diane. Thank you so much for joining me today as we flip through this completed Christmas journal that was made with some supplies sent to me from Carina in Sweden. And I made this journal as a bound one, with a wire bound one I should say, with my Zutter Bind-It-All and an O-wire in white. It's a 1-inch O-wire, in case you're wondering about that. If you have a cinch or a Bind-It-All, you'll be familiar with that. So I did a couple of process videos on this. This is a heavy chipboard, and I just covered it with a textured wallpaper, and this is the same design but in brown. So it's all wallpaper and chipboard, and on the inside is a printable from Charm Studio, and it's called Christmas Plaid, I think. So that's on the front and back. And I glued it together, and then I did some stitching all the way around. So Carina sent me these pieces of cross-stitch embroidery, which I absolutely love. So I stitched a frame around them in red thread to keep them from fraying more, and glued them down, and I just think they're so adorable. And then I had this little metal piece in my stash. I have no idea where I got it from, when I got it, what company it is. I just have a bunch of these similar things in my stash that I always forget about. So then I had to cut this piece to the right size where it wasn't showing beyond this little scalloped piece, and it was long enough. It's kind of a thin border there, but I just kept trimming away until I had it just the right size. And I stamped and embossed the word Merry and Bright, and that's from a Tim Holtz set. And I added the bright green eyelets. This piece in the background is also a fabric piece from Carina. So I'm thinking this will be my last Christmas journal for 2023, and I'm going to use these pieces on the cover, just so you know. But it's in my background for this video. This measures 7 1/4 by 10 1/2, and I made this little book plate with a stamp that I have. So I used some scrapbook paper and other kinds of papers that you'll see, and I will point out the things that came from Sweden. These felt pieces I just received from Carolyn in a happy mail, and Carolyn is in South Carolina, but I thought that some of the things she sent me were perfect for the Swedish journals. So I did use some of the felt pieces. This came from Sweden, more cross-stitch. It's a little boy dressed in red with a lantern. And this is from a napkin that came from Sweden. And I stamped the plaid background and then just glued the napkin on top. And this is a tag that I made out of cardstock. The book pages came from Sweden. And this ribbon, and it says Merry Christmas in Swedish. Good Christmas, actually. The little tabs were just made with some trims and fabrics that I had in my stash, and I added some little charms. So none of these came from Sweden, but there's a little tiny bell on that. The envelopes with stamps, the first day cover envelopes, came from Sweden. Look at those beautiful floral images, and that, so pretty. This is from 1995, or 1990, sorry. I added a strip of scrapbook paper that I could use to bind it into the book so that I didn't have to punch the envelope. This came from like a 1930s, I believe, magazine, and I thought it was so cute and perfect for the little elf or gnome images that come with the Swedish images. Tinkle toes slippers for the kiddies Christmas. There'll be bells on their toes if you make up this pair of red felt slippers. So it was a pattern you could order. And then I had this. I don't think Carina sent this to me. Maybe she did. Yes, I think she did send this to me. Even though the card is in English, I think that it says to dear Mr. and Mrs., I think, Grape. And she sent me some things with that last name previously. I think it's a relative of hers. An ancestor, maybe. This is wrapping paper with all these Santa faces on it. It's so cute. And I have this stamp that I got at the flea market, and I just cut it out after I stamped it and added it to this background paper with trees all over it. So it's like there's the wooded hills behind the houses. This stamp here came from Sweden. And these two cards. I think I was going to bind this into the book, and then I didn't. But I just, because I put this piece on it, it was going to be bound in, but for some reason I left it out. But I put it in here so you can use it for a journaling card. And this is something Carina sent me. It opens up. It's printed on both sides. You can do what you like with that. This is not a Santa Claus. This is Tomten or something like that, a Swedish character. I did not look him up to see the story behind him. This is a digital from Charm Studios, the Christmas plaid. And then this was, I can't remember what this backing piece was from. The book from Sweden. And I put a milk cap on there that has red and green. This is a green tinted music manuscript page, so there's lots of space for writing here. And these are the little characters from Sweden. And this, I believe, was on the cover of a book of stamps. But it's a vintage piece. She sent me an envelope full of stamp book covers. And this is a piece from fabric like this. And this is a little piece of 1940s gift wrap that I punched out in a circle, and then I punched a cardstock piece out to put behind it. Lots of journaling space there. Scrapbook paper, and then a piece that Carina sent me with embroidery, just to trim. I love it. A scrap piece of paper that has lots of journaling space. And I made another tag. This is napkin that didn't come from Sweden, but it has like a Scandinavian type of sweater design. I got this at the flea market. And I glued it to this tag that I made out of a file folder, or it was just a piece of cardstock. And I added a gold doily, and Carina sent me this piece here. And that's just a digital. And Carina sent me that shipping label. It says Good Christmas on it. And this is a piece of gift wrap that I got at the flea market. Carolyn sent this to me, and I thought this also was perfect for the Swedish journals. These cards came from Sweden. And this is a page from a Swedish book. Here's another one of the stamp book covers. I put it on as a tiny little pocket, and she had sent me these little gift tags. So these little Tomten characters, they're mischievous, apparently. So it looks like he's taking something, or he's running, and he has something under his arms, like bundles. So I don't know if he's delivering them or stealing them, but I do know that they are mischievous characters. And I just have these skinny little tags to tuck in there. And this tab has a little plastic bell. It's vintage. Swedish text here from this storybook. More digital from Charm Studios, and I stamped these folk art type of stamps that I thought were very Scandinavian looking. Carina sent this coaster to me, and she sent me this postcard. There's another book from Sweden, a book page, and this one has a vintage green jingle bell on it. You can see the Swedish text there. She sent this to me. It looks like papers that you would print on from your computer and printer. And I added this piece of vintage ribbon. It's very soft and silky. I got that at the flea market, and I stamped this from that stamp set that looks, no, I think that's a Tim Holtz stamp. Yeah, that's Tim Holtz. This came from a piece of fabric that Carina sent me. And I added the red and white striped and the vintage rickrack and another piece of felt from Carolyn. This came from the scrapbook with the 1940s Christmas paper, and it says Christmas 1943 on it. Another piece of that green manuscript paper, and this is a Tim Holtz stamp. I embossed it in black and added another piece of that lace from Carolyn. There's another red and green milk bottle cap, and this ribbon. The ribbon and the book page came from Sweden. This card and this card came from Sweden. Look at that beautiful image. And this fabric came from Sweden, and Carina sent me this postcard. It does say a Merry Christmas in English, but it was written to someone in Sweden in 1909. This was a napkin that Carina sent me. So I don't know, this is one of those characters, and this is the goat. I don't know what significance the goat has for their Christmases, but they have straw, they decorate with straw goats. I called that a straw horse the first time that I showed it, but it's a goat. And this is a straw or greenery, I guess, with a heart. So these are Swedish decorations there. Look at the little child. He's peeking in the window at their Christmas celebration, and this little child notices him. I think that's amazing. So what happens after the child sees him? Does she alert everyone? I don't know. This label was sent to me from Carina. Merry Christmas to from in Swedish. This is something you can open up. Oh, did it get glued? Yep. And you can open that up and write on it. I backed it with green so it would stand off from the page, and then I glued the green part on as a pocket, and it has one of the Swedish postcards in it. This was dated, I don't know the date. And these two pieces that say open and pull, they're digitals. Another book page, piece of fabric, and this has a snowflake charm. And I'll show you this while we have the book turned. That's a gold jingle bell. So this looks like it's a story, but they're making some Swedish treat. Here's some more wrapping paper, and this one has a Santa and one of the gnome characters in a barn with the cats and the pig cooking something. Or maybe it's not a barn, maybe it's their house. It's got stone walls, but there's a lot of hay. And there's their Christmas tree. It's just really cute, Swedish wrapping paper. I put some scrapbook paper on the back that looks like ledger, And another of the felt pieces from Carolyn just hangs there. You could remove this if you wanted to and hang that on your Christmas tree. This is a 1940s gift tag. It was in a scrapbook, and it's for Eleanor. It says Cheerio. It's very cute. And another piece of that very pretty vintage ribbon. This botanical page of holly was from Carina, and this was from Carina, and so was this. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It's on both sides. I just wrapped it around this page and put a paper clip on it. It's a teardrop paper clip. And I stamped Fa La La and some mittens up there across the top. And another first day cover envelope with these really bright and fun illustrations from 2005. And inside this is part of a vintage card. Something was on the front. I don't know if it was torn when I got it or did I cut something off. I don't know, but I included it in here. It seemed like it went well. And you can write on the back. Another plaid piece. And another postcard from Sweden. And the last page. I had said in the first video that I had taken out all of the religious postage stamps and set them aside because I wasn't going for a religious theme, but you may notice that the book pages do have a religious theme, and that's fine. I used a lot of the gnome or tomten characters and children and Christmas trees and baking and stuff, but the religious factor is definitely a big part of Christmas. So those pages are great. I think these are the words for Silent Night. Yeah, that's what they look like. And on the back cover, I can't, fingernails won't pick that up. There we go. We made this pocket in the second video, yesterday's video. And this is a piece from Carina and the stamp. And this came out of a booklet from Carina, so I just cut off this piece. It was advertising books that you could buy. And there's one of the straw goats. And on the back, it has Tomtenese. Because I've seen different names, different ways to spell the Tomten or Tom. I don't know. I don't know what they are, but I've seen different ways of spelling it. But those little images, this one looks like a Christmas one. So I just tucked that in there, and you can do what you like with it. This is a postcard that Carina sent. And I put my signature on that. And this is from 1981. If I stick the card in there, it helps open up the pocket so I can put the paper in there. And then I just put this in here. It's an empty envelope, so you can save little memorabilia, mementos in there, but it is Swedish, and it's got a stamp there and a stamp there. This looks like the Lung Association stamp or something like that, but this is the postage. So you can use that to keep stuff in. And that's it. Oh, I did have this on it, sorry. This is a gold stretchy band, and I think it was made for a journal. I don't even know, did I buy it or did somebody send it to me? I've had it for a long time. But it had a little black tab on it, a fabric tab, which I would have left on it, but it said, "Get it, girl," or something like that. So I used my thread seam ripper and picked off all the threads to remove that tab, and then I sewed it together because it came apart. That tab was holding it together. So I'll just put that seam where I sewed it together on the back. I think the easiest way to put it on is over the wires instead of trying to avoid all of those charms. And then you just put it on the front and it holds it closed if you want to. You don't have to leave it on, but I'm sending it that way. So this is Merry and Bright, a Swedish wire-bound journal. Thank you so much, Carina, for all the wonderful supplies you sent. I still have some more to use in this journal. So you can come back and watch that happen. And you can go to my shop and pick this up sometime this afternoon or early evening. I have to take my dad for his appointment, and it's a long appointment, and it's in the afternoon, so I don't know what time I'll be home. When I get home, I will list the journal. So you can just watch for it. If you favorite my shop, you'll get a notification. If you keep an eye on Etsy, you'll get a notification of when it's listed. So I hope that you like this. I think it's really fun, and having it wire bound makes it easy to use. You can, flip it around, flip the cover back, so as you saw me doing, so it's easy to work in. So yeah, go to my shop if you're interested in this sometime in the afternoon. Like, I'm hoping to get it in there around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Might be earlier, might be later, so just keep an eye out. And then come on back to my channel to see what I'm doing with this. I have an idea of what I'm going to do. Been thinking about it all the while I've been working on all the other Christmas journals. What am I going to do with this wide fabric and be able to use it in my journals? But I think I have an idea. So come on back and see what I do. Thanks so much for watching, and have a creative day today. Bye-bye.